On this episode of Going for Pro, we are trying to get this 91 with a 99 engine running. So let's get to it. So if you guys watched the last video, I literally just ended it and we are now on this car to try to get it running. All I did was, from the last video or last clip or last video, was bolt this on. Need to take this off right here, which is what I'm doing right now, and I am going to plug in the battery, and well, I'm going to do that off camera, but I'm going to get everything, make sure everything's good, and I am going to plug in the battery and let's see if this thing runs. Alright, it's go time.
You know, I don't know if this is crushed behind yet, but
So obviously the car wasn't kicking on. I'm going to try to angle the cast more to see if it's going to actually help in any way. So let me loosen that up and see what happens. So I think it's because the intake is taking up air. It shouldn't be. So I kind of rigged up my old air intake that I had. So we're going to actually plug this in, or actually try to run it real quick. I know I don't have any radiator fluid on this thing, and that's just how it is right now. As you can tell right there, no hose connected, but hopefully this will work. We're going to give this a try and then try to troubleshoot it. So it runs, but I don't know what's rubbing or that sound, so probably gonna watch this video back and try to figure it out. So I finally figured out what that sound was. Somehow my water pump was backing up and chewing on it. As you can tell, it's not lined up right there. So I'm gonna loosen this alternator and water pump. I'm gonna back that out and line it back up, and hopefully everything works fine. So I got that fixed on the car. It just needed to be tightened. It just slipped off. Now I have to wait on the intake, but while I'm waiting on the intake, I am going to fix a couple things like this, because I did the wiring like this. I need to cut this and trim it because it is, as you can tell, it's been rubbing right there. So I need to kind of stretch it out or flatten it out so it doesn't rub on my fenders or make a bigger hole that it already has, because it was protruding. And then also we have a couple other little things that we're going to get to, but the Miata runs, which I'm not surprised, and it has great oil pressure. I am going to have to try to figure out how to fix this, the actual throttle body, because I am having issues with it getting stuck on wide open, not wide open, but it's not closing all the way. So what I'm going to end up doing is probably make a couple more threads on the back side of this, so my actual throttle body can shut all the way. Since we got the car running, you know, I realized that the throttle cable wasn't working just right. I can't really do anything else right now until I get that intake to go test and tune it in the sense. I am going to fix the throttle body on this thing. So Flying Miata provides a great product, but this throttle cable linkage is a little bit too far forward or back that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill another hole, and I'll show you right here. So I'm drilling another hole right now, right there, and trying to make it actually, look decent, and then I'm going to do another one up here, and so I can slide it a little bit forward, and if I need to I can shave a little bit of this off, but it's probably not me flying Miata's fault, it's probably mine. I'm going to finish this up and then get back with y'all. I was going to try to thread this part right here because all I need is like that much more room, but I couldn't get it done, so this cable, the bolt wouldn't actually slide out, and I'm not about to cut my throttle cable. I'm going to put that back together, my throttle cable. So I ended up just widening the holes just a little bit. As you can tell, well, not really, but right there, there's a little gap, and then on top of that, I put a washer on top of this end because I widened the hole a little bit too much. I don't know, it's a little dark for you guys to see, but yep. Guess what came in today or yesterday, I think it was, but kind of made sure it fit. So this was $120. I suggest if you guys know how, or know someone that knows how to weld aluminum, to get them to weld it for you, because this doesn't fit my needs in particular just perfect, but it'll work. And I had to make my own coolant hoses just due to the fact that that's not working 100%. Because this aftermarket radiator and fan shroud. What I'm probably going to do is to put pusher fans on the front of this radiator later on, so I have more room in here. But because I don't have pusher fans, I have puller fans, I'm going to have to deal with what I got. I'm not going to dump a bunch of money until I get this running 100%, and then I will fix it the way I need to. Let me show you guys what I came up with. So I started assembling the car, and I forgot to record it. This is what's going on. I had to flip my map upside down. Well, always did, but I had to in this occasion due to the fact that I need the cold air, really hot air intake to come to this corner so it could extend out and attach to this. Well, my main concern is that it's butting up right against these fans. It's super hard. I have to angle this a certain way. It has to be stretched. It's probably not doing any good, but the stock air box or intake won't work. So I then had to create some type of hose with the hoses I got, and it's probably not going to do the best, but it's going to do something. So I ended up attaching this hose, cutting another hose, having my stock hose or stockish hose cut right in the middle, and then cutting this tube, which is the thing it comes off of, I think it was the stock one off of this, the 1/8, and I had to cut it right here and use it as a filler neck or like an adapter. And so I cut that and then fit it for this. And I'm going to tighten that down, and everything should work where I could start filling up the radiator, because all the other hoses are tightened down. I'm about to double check that, but it's actually looking good. This hose right here will need to wrap around and attach right down there to where that intake attaches, so it's going to be sitting nice and pretty. My only concern is if this is going to fit on it. It should. My bad, I was recording the ground, but if this filters are going to fit, I might have to get a smaller one, but I'm hoping it will, or it's going to get crushed in the process to make it work. So the Mega Racing bar, I put that on because I did remove these braces right there on the stock Miata, and this Mega Racing bar actually helps it out, not flex so much. So it's looking good. I can't complain. Everything's tightened back down. So I'm going to get back to wrenching and tightening all these hoses, and maybe filling up the radiator and seeing if we have any leaks. So I ended up getting the car running. It starts up pretty well. It has a little issues, but for what it is, it starts up pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see this smoke or whatnot that's coming out of here, but I ran it went up to operating temperature, but I am not getting my fans to kick over. So I think that's due to a bad sensor in the back. First I need to again, make this smaller. I didn't make it smaller in the last video, so I'm going to probably cut right here and then flip it a little bit more to push it in, or move it down to the side a little bit more so it doesn't, you know, put a hole. Actually, I could just grind this off because it's just denting it right here. So I'm thinking about just, you know, chopping this part off right here, this plastic, so it doesn't push on it as much. So after I ran the car a little bit more, the fan kicked over. So let me show you how this car actually runs real quick, because I am really impressed on how it runs. So let me guys set you up on a tripod and turn the car over. So as you can tell, the idle's pretty like wonky at first, and then it smooths out. So that's what I was talking about during startup. It's just kind of like, but it works out pretty good. So now I'm going to fix that metal bracket that I've been talking about the last like 2-3 videos on how I need to get it done. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to, because I need to take a couple centimeters off of it. So that's what I'm going to try to figure out, and then show you the guys, oh my gosh, show you guys the results. So this is what I did. I ended up pushing this down a little bit more, which brought it a little bit closer, not sticking out as much. This is the point where it is sticking out the most, which has enough clearance. This didn't shave down the top a little bit. Put a small hole, don't mind, and I kind of round this out a little bit more. So that's gonna work. It re-zip tied this piece of plastic, and now it's time to start mounting these fenders and getting them on both sides. I might actually have to wire this up, so I might be holding off and try and figure out how to wire this this valve right here. So I will be right back. So I finally got the wiring figured out. I'm going to be using this activation switch. So it's going to be yellow to the farthest one, or the closest one to the front of the car, and the gray is going to go all the way to the wire for this switch, all the way to the back and close to the firewall. Now we're going to jump over here to the other side, and we are going to, I wired it this way, but this should be white right here. I know it's multicolored. I had some spare wiring laying around, so I just extended the harness, and I'm running it right against the firewall, as you can see right there. So this goes to, this white wire goes to, let's see if we can reconnect, goes to IG, as you can see right there. So I just pulled it out of the wiring harness, unclipped it, and then this red wire, because this is supposed to be straight red, goes to this white and red wire that is technically plus B. So gonna end up wiring those up to that switch and everything else. And also there's a ground, and the ground just goes on to the back of the engine, or that's where I'm going to put my ground, right here, right around in that area right there, and we're good. So I'm going to wire all this stuff up and see if it works. I just want to show you guys, I re-put the tape on here, made it look nice, taped up everything, mounted the MSD. I'm not going to work on the front fenders yet. First, I need to work on, let me move this stuff out of the way, my O2 sensors. I know for a fact that this one's messed up. It was never reading, and you can hear it rattling. So what I'm going to end up doing is cutting this actual clip and wiring it onto this clip right here. As you can tell, it is well shot. So gonna wire this one up to it so I can actually have my O2 sensor back, and my car will run better. The interior's done. I got oil, ATF, which you can use for power steering in these cars, and a funnel. And then you throw a rag in here, and I'm gonna let it idle for a little bit outside, and then I'm gonna take it for a drive. Hopefully everything works. I fired it up. It's idling kind of weak, so I need to fix that a little bit, but I want to drive this and see if it gets hot and if it works. So I messed up, y'all, and I'm gonna tell you how I messed up. So that's where I'm gonna end the video, y'all. I messed up. I put the clutch in backwards like a newbie, which I've done like 2 or 3 clutches already. Stay tuned for next video where I show you how to take out transmission with the engine, take out transmission with the engine still in the Miata. So, see you guys next time, and remember, never give up.